Be sure to go to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. It's a good deal and helps promote the show. What is up, Planeswalkers? 306 back with some more Magic the Gathering Arena, and today we're playing some Gladiator Abzan. And I've already got someone queued up, so I'm going to go ahead and play. Gladiator is a 100-card singleton format using all of Arena's card. So you can play historic, or you can play with the historic cards, the historic anthology cards, and of course the standard cards. As a singleton format, sure, I'll keep this. As a singleton format, sure, you are only able to play one copy of each card, except for basic lands, where you can play any number of those. I'm trying to think of any other particular ones. Blue-red. It's also a best of 3 format, I should say, with no sideboards. I think I'm liking Destiny Spinner here. But I'm actually going to go with the Great Horn, I think. I'll play Goose out. Now, my Goose might get shocked, which would be pretty bad, especially since I got rid of Destiny Spinner. Okay. So I would like to get this on my Goose. And if my Goose dies in response, that's fine. I still have a 3/4. Cool. And we're going to go ahead and get a Plains into play. So the person, DeathRay139, he is also a streamer. He is streaming while I'm recording this. But he was the first person who was like, hey, I'll play with you. And so I'm playing with him. So check out DeathRay. Ooh, bad look. DeathRay, unfortunately, stuck on mana there. Very unfortunate, but that's one of the main reasons that you're going to be playing best of 3 matches. It's because I'll play this, and when I could play this, yeah, I might as well. It's because you eliminate some of the variance, right? You make it so it's less likely that you're going to be put in a situation where like you have nothing that you can play. I'm trying to think. Currently, the only card that's banned in this format is 3-mana Oko. There is a Discord. This was started, I think, by Benjamin Wheeler from Not Tap Concede, technically. Loading Ready Run. Their names are all hard. I love watching him on gosh, what is that? What's it called? Well, first I'm gonna attack. You hit there. You hit there. On goodness me, what is it called?
You are a mighty warrior. I concede.
North 100. Jeez, I love watching him on North 100. There's a Discord in the description, which I will link to, and I will be going over the deck list after the game. So the way I had to do this, and there are no sideboards, so you just immediately go into the next game. I'll talk about the deck list after the games. I'm trying to think if there's anything else major that I want to talk about. Not really. I have Skull Prophet, which is nice. I have Temple of Plenty, and I'm going second. I'll keep this because I'm greedy. Obviously, this doesn't give you the full Elder Dragon Highlander, aka Commander, aka EDH fix. If it's not a black source, it's staying in my hands because it allows me to play Knight of Autumn or something next turn. It doesn't have the Commander option, which is unfortunate, but it is a decent facsimile, just because of the fact that, hey, I get to do things. They're on Jeskai, okay. I get to play with 100 cards, right? Like 100 singleton cards. Well, technically not. It's fewer than that. Okay, so he bolts our bird, which is fair. Means I might be in his position from last game. Awkwardly. Let's see, let's go ahead and move some of these around, shall we? There we go. Cycling Forgotten Cave, so I assume he has some more lands in hand. I did not draw land, unfortunately, so I passed the turn like a dumb. I will pass the turn like a dumb. And we're going to rip, I think, Conquer's Death, unfortunately. It's the slowest of the cards. I don't know, maybe Eldritch Reborn is better to get rid of, but... Yeah, see, now we're just letting my opponent do whatever. This Thorn Lieutenant, they might be on control, but luckily, you know, they were in this position last game. Yeah, interesting. So we do know they're on some sort of Jeskai Control deck, and that makes sense, right? So they're probably just looking for stuff here. You know, threats and stuff. Yeah, so their hand is probably full of counterspells and or removal. I'm gonna go ahead and cast this now. They should probably, well, did not get a land off of it, which is pretty bad, which means I'm just gonna have to discard anyway. I will discard the Eldritch Reborn, I think. Because Tristani's a one-person army, so. Cycling Tart Shark Typhoon. Very interesting. I guess they saw that I got Gem Razor, so technically I'd be able to blow it up. I should admit, like, this is literally my first deck. I've not been able to do like anything with this format yet, because this is my first game. This is my first deck, my first game, my first iteration. Deathray was kind enough to, well, I guess I can bog them. You know, that's nice, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, the Discord looks super active, like, in the space of me starting this game, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 5 other games have already started, and people are still, like, looking at stuff. Super active community, it's fun. Okay. So I'm pretty sure anything I cast is going to get countered, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to try and exile this on their turn. Yeah. I'm trying to exile this on their turn. This way they at least have to use some of their mana on their turn. It might help me pay for things on my following turn. So I did a bad by keeping a 2-lander. Note to self, don't ever do that. I should have learned by now, but I have not. This is probably going to eat a burn spiel or some form of removal. My opponent's only on 5 cards.
Hold still.
Dungeon Geists. Okay. Sure. So my Skull Prophet I cannot use for mana. I'm probably super dead. Opponent has 3 mana. They'll have more. I think I'm gonna try and just kill this. Let's see if this gets counter-spieled. Okay. I'm still probably going to die. Because this is 3, they put me to 4, and then I die to, like, even a 1 damage spell or something? But no.
Guildmage, Planeswalker, Genius Inventor? I got it all.
Bottom, alright. Kefers, alright, so we're actually not, you know, in a terrible place. If I draw an untapped land, I can actually play Liliana in minus. Uh-oh. Leave him alone. Alright, then. I'm still technically alive by playing Knight of Autumn. Okay, they didn't get anything off their Kefnet. Ooh, okay,
You like the gauntlets? I built them myself.
Okay. Okay, this is a land, but doesn't really do much, unfortunately. No. Unfortunately, does not do enough. So that'll be a concession, and then we go to game 3, because this is a best of 3 format. It's similar in that way to Canadian Highlander. Obviously, this was made by someone who plays Canadian Highlander. Right now, IKO is banned, and I suspect that they'll probably be on ban list for a long time, just because pointless make more sense when you have like actually a ton more options to choose from. This hand is great. Baronmore, Paradise Druid, Gem Razor. Got an early Gem Razor, which is really nice. Maelstrom Pulse. I don't know if I'm gonna end up cycling this, but as is, I can just play this tapped. So they go ahead and mulligan, likely not wanting to to be either of us who kept a 2-lander initially. I'm going to play this tapped, followed up by a Paradise Druid. Cool. So I got that additional land. Now I have Maelstrom Pulse. I have Charming Prince to Scry if I want to. That's cool. I think I am going to Charming Prince to Scry. Casualties of War seems a little far off. I don't think I care about Fiend Artisan. No. I don't think I'm going to cycle Baron. I don't think I'm going to cycle Baronmore. I think I want to keep Casualties of War in hand, perhaps? No, I don't. It's dumb. I'm not going to attack here. I mean, they only have blue right now, but it's not like I'm leaning too hard on my Paradise Druid. I just want to make sure I have it. And plus, I have this to attack with. So I have some pressure on them. Yeah, I'm just going to play this tapped. And I think maybe... Oh, Master Pulse is sorcery, though. I'll just play Shovel. This obviously is pretty bad if they go Plains into... Oh, they could also go Storm's Wrath. Yep. As soon as I saw that, I realized my folly. That said... I can Sorin Plus. I'm Sorin Plussing because if I'm -2 to get any of these, then it's possible my Sorin dies. But this way I can -2, get back Paradise Druid, get back Boneyard, and then cast Boneyard, sorry, onto the Paradise Druid. So let's go 2. Let's go Paradise Druid. Let's attempt to mutate onto this. Now this might get countered, but this can't be targeted, which is great. Then I'm gonna put... probably Charming Prince back in my hand. I think it just has a little bit more versatility than Shovel. Ooh, Thrix is frightening. So Sorin can die. I can pulse this. Prison Realm on Sorin. Instead of attacking Sorin. I do not understand that line. Now I really don't understand that line. Oh, because he's at 17. I have a 4/4. He doesn't want anything bad to happen. I think I want to cast Charming Prince first. I'm dumb, aren't I? Yeah. I could have just cast Gem Razor onto this, which would get me my Sorin back. I mean, it doesn't, you know, it actually, I would rather save it. I'm just going to try and Maelstrom Pulse this. Cool. And then I'll just hit him for 4. I lose the Hexproof, but, I mean, I still just have a 4/4. I have Knight of Autumn to get back my Sorin. I'm gonna try and find Deathray's Twitch channel so I can put it in the description as well. They have no blue open. So would I rather do this, or would I rather use Gem Razor? I think I would actually rather use this. I'm just going to plus. I could cast this. I'm not going to. I'm just going to attack for 6. Because that is a 2-turner. A Timmy turner. We're in an okay position. So let's see, if he had attacked here, he couldn't have used the Prison Realm on this. Ah. Gotta give him the GG. Oh my god, what just happened? Where did he go? Deathray. Always ask permission. Well, he's offline now. Alright then. Technically, it's only been, 18 minutes or whatever, but I do want to talk about the deck. And talk a little bit more about the Gladiator rules, etc., etc. So, the idea of this deck, and actually I'm going to show you this big version. So this is the pool that I drew from. There's a lot of, there's a lot of different ways potentially to build that, and like this doesn't include all of them. Like there's a land build that you can do where you have tools like the Gaterock Monster, you have Wayward Swordtooth, you have Crucible of Worlds, things like that, Field of Ruin and Ghost Quarter. You can go heavy Planeswalkers, you can go heavy ATB creatures, you can go kind of like Death and Taxes type version. Where you just have a bunch of hate cards, but I ended up with this, which kind of doesn't do any of those directly. But it still works. We have Gilded Goose, Llanowar Elves as kind of 1-drop mana creatures, and I'm not sure how much they're needed, but when I think about building commander decks, at least, and obviously this is not actually commander, but when I think about building commander decks, I recognize that you have to have some amount of early ramp, and turn 1's like the earliest ramp you can get in this game. So I went with these. I had Arbor Elf initially. Arbor Elf didn't seem as good because it doesn't give you benefit after that initial land drop, and I wasn't looking for like burst mana ramp. I was looking for something that's a little bit more consistent. So that's what ended me up here. Now, technically, these cards are kind of bad in the later ends of the game, but they're so good early on that I'm hoping that they're not terrible. And they both get mutated nicely. Veil of Summer, it's legal in this format, and it's good. Veil of Summer is just a strong card, so that's why I put it in here. Charming Prince is versatility, and I just like versatility a lot. Being able to scry 2 against the control decks, gain 3 against the aggro decks, and then having some of that extra utility against other mid-range decks, for example, is really nice. Tithe Taker, it's a tax card. And it also dies to give you more stuff. Destiny Spinner. There are control decks in this format. This says, hey, control decks, go away. I'm casting my creatures. You can't stop me. Incubation Druid, Paradise Druid, I think, and Skull Prophet. I think those are all of the ones in 2. Those are some of the other 2-mana mana rocks. Mana rocks in this build that I have. Druid I like because you can make it bigger later on in the game. Obviously, this is weaker if you don't have your third color of mana. So obviously you're going to always have green. But, you know, if you have black or white, it can't produce the other. So that can be an issue. Paradise Druid, of course, can produce any, and it comes with the added benefit of having hexproof. Other than that, though, it's you know, can't scale super well. And then Skull Prophet is great because it allows you to make black or green. Obviously, if you don't have white, you can't make white with this. But it has the added benefit of, 1, being a decent beater. You know, 2 mana, 3/1 is not bad. And then it has the ability to put some cards in your graveyard. And we have some graveyard utility cards. Throne Lieutenant. This is essentially a tax card. Your opponent targets this, we get a 1/1. It scales really nicely later. That's what I was thinking when I put this card in. Cheval. He kills things, and when those things die, you get to gain 3 life and draw a card. That seems good. I don't know how good it is. Fiend Artisan, one of those cards that cares about the graveyard. We are running like 36 creatures in this, which is a decent amount, especially considering a lot of my creature, like heavy creature-based commander decks don't run that many. But yeah, Fiend Artisan gets bigger and allows me to search for anything that I need, just for the low cost of sacrificing creature and paying a lot of mana. Bronze Headline. It gains Indestructible. I like this card. Heartless Act. It's removal at 2 mana. I like this card. Assassin Trophy. It's removal at 2 mana. D-Spark is removal at 2 mana. They all do different things, obviously. Heartless Act is just a really cheap way to get rid of creature. I've seen a couple people using Cast Down, but like I just feel like Heartless Act is better in so many more situations than Cast Down. D-Spark gets rid of any permanent, but it has to have the 4 CMC or more. Assassin Trophy gets rid of literally any permanent, but they get to search for basic land, which can be an issue. You know, we saw in 2 of those games, each of us flooded at least once, which is not the best, but, you know, whatever. Once Upon a Time, it's legal in this format, and it can be free. I don't know. Like it seems good. That's why I put it in here. Versus Hydra. This card's great. I love modular cards. This card's a modular card. Conjali Sunwing. It's a tax creature. You know, it's a 2/3 flyer that has a tax effect. Lawbing Venturer seems great. Just an actual beater. Where against certain decks, you know, maybe all of the removal are all of the 3 damage removal are odd or something. Then I can choose, or even. Sorry, I can choose that. Murderous Rider. It's Murderous Rider. You get to kill things. Deathcore Scavenger. I don't know how frequent you'll see graveyard strategies in this, but because this is a 100-card format, and you get all of the cards on Arena, there's a decent amount of support for these graveyard-centric decks. So I figure Deathcore Scavenger isn't a bad card in and of itself, right? 3 mana, 3/2 isn't awful. And then, you know, when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you can gain 2 life by exiling creature, or get a little bit of bonus damage if it's a non-creature. So, seems decent. And what's really nice is that you can obviously exile lands with this. So, if you get Rug Monster. Dryad is just great. It allows me to play an additional land if I want, but more importantly, it fixes my mana perfectly. Kunaros, another way to hate on graveyard decks, but it also is... you know, it's just a solid card. 3 mana, 3/3, Vigilance, Menace, Lifelink. It's nice. Now, obviously, creature cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. I have a couple of things like that, like Netherrayer, for example. Potentially, Elspeth Conquers Death and things, but those, in a 100-card singleton format, it's not going to happen that often. Necropanther, speaking of cards that put cards back from the graveyard to the battlefield, Necropanther is just a decent card. You know, we're able to get fucking any of these creatures over here, and that seems just like a good thing. I love Leyland Prowler. Pretty much every singleton deck I have that has green-black in it has Leyland Prowler. Death Touch, Lifelink, and adds a color of mana is just great. Knight of Autumn, versatility. Excuse me. Elspeth's Nightmare is good because it has so many different aspects to it. You know, I talked about this when I played it in Standard, but the fact of the matter is you can kill an aggro creature. The following turn, you get to remove, you know, control opponent's card, and then you just get to exile anyone's graveyard is great. Mythos, it's the perfect removal spell. The first Iron games feels like it should be good because it just does so many things. You know, it comes in and like it's an overcosted 1/1. The following turn it becomes a 4/4, so you know then it's like a 3-mana delayed 4/4. And then the turn after that you do get to draw 2 cards potentially, even if you lost the 4/4. The gold token's kind of just added, but I have to play more games in this format. And by the way, this is something I should mention. This Saturday on stream, I will be playing Gladiator with viewers. So if you have a Gladiator deck, please, please, please let me know and we can play it. Mortify, it's removal. Maelstrom Pulse, it's removal. Shalai, she's great. Gives all of my stuff hexproof, and also I can just use her extra ability to buff my dudes. Luminous Broodmoth, if something dies and it doesn't flies, it comes back. Yeah, I couldn't find another rhyme. Dirge Bat, mutate to kill a thing, always nice. Gemraiser, mutate to destroy an artifact or enchantment. Mutates to get a land, which is great. Seraph the Scales is here kind of as a super mutate card, but also, you know, just it's a 4-mana 4/3 that just like has extra stuff on it, which is really like what I'd like to see. Look, I understand this is just like an Abzan good stuff deck. I'm probably gonna make a Sultai. Am I gonna make Sultai Graveyard or Abzan Graveyard? I think I'm gonna make Sultai Graveyard. I think more things in blue care about doing graveyard stuff than in white. Is there another Gladiator deck that I want to make? I don't think so. No, just fucking black green X mid-range decks. Boneyard Looker, you know, it's a 4-mana 4/4, but really it's a mutate card where you just get an extra permanent back to your hand. Umori, it's a 4-mana 4/5 that makes your spells cost less when you cast it, which is great. Shadow of the Sky is like I think my 1 board wipe. Sometimes bad things happen, and you gotta reset the board. Into Extinction, I have over Vraska's Contempt. Being able to choose the top card is pretty helpful. Sorin and Vraska are both generally value cards. Sorin allows me to gain a life against the aggro decks while bringing back a creature against the control, and Vraska allows me to draw cards against the control while destroying a small creature against the aggro. God Eternal Ketra, I love this card. That's it. Auspicious Sterix, it's I probably have enough mutate in this deck to make this decent. I don't actually know, and it might get cut, because at the end of the day, it is a 5 or 6 mana 6/6. Which isn't the best. Cavalier of Thorns, it's just a generally strong value card and puts a lot of cards in the graveyard. Tristani is a 1-man army, or a 3-tree army, I guess. Netheroi, we are a value Abzan deck. Sometimes things die, Netheroi gets them back. Elspeth Conquers Death and Eldritch Reborn, I absolutely love these 2 enchantments. Vivian Reed and Vivian Reed, you make dudes. You have removal on this one. You have a sweet search effect on this one. Fine Finality. Technically the other board wipe in this deck, not the best, because it, you know, it's only -4/-4. But it also comes with a find on it if we need to get some creatures back. I'm not sure about this card. Then we have like the Planeswalker Gambit. Liliana, Garruk, Vraska, Ugin. I want to have Planeswalkers at the top end. I like Planeswalkers. Sue me. Don't actually. Casualties of War. Now I didn't play this in my Brokos video, but I am playing it here because Gladiator is not necessarily a competitive format, but you know, it's best of 3. It's a format where you're meant to win. Beanstalk Giant, it's Ramp, Eerie Ultimatum. I'm playing Abzan. I really like this card. I love the art. I'm playing this card. And the Red Henge. It is a good card. Not the best DeckTech, but you know, shut up. This is my mana base. It is wonky as all hell. I don't think there's really too many things to mention. If you were to play the Planeswalker version, I mean, you can see I only have 8 here. But, you know, there's plenty of 3-drop Planeswalkers that I'm not running, a lot of 4-drops, decent number of 5 and 6. If you're playing those, you probably are going to want to include Beacon, maybe even Karn's Bastion. I am running Field of the Dead. You know, I'm not running Scape Shift. If I was doing the Graveyard version, I'd probably be running Scape Shift as well as the 5-mana freaking Dominaria Saga. Mending of Dominaria. There we go. things like that. Bojuka Bog is really awesome. I did initially have Knight of the Reliquary in here to search up things like Bojuka Bog and whatnot, but I figured I wasn't... I guess that is a reason to try and do that. I might be a bad person and try a 5-color Gladiator deck. God, that sounds awful. That sounds awful. F that. Yeah, so I mean that's Gladiator. This is Friday, so it's Wildcard Fridays. That's why I did a weird kind of shorter Gladiator video. This I don't think will be the only thing. I think I'm gonna post another. Yeah, I'm gonna post a bonus video as well. That's gonna be a little bit on the lighter side as well, just because it's what it is. I would like to thank my lovely patrons, especially Zen, for the continued support. If you'd like to join them and support the show, you'll find links to that down in the description below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Check out the Gladiator Discord, which I will link in the description below, and possibly my opponent's Twitch channel. Perhaps, I don't know. I'll have to see if I can find him, because I would rather get permission to link to his channel, but whatever. If you did enjoy this, go ahead and tap that like button, add subscription to your mana pool, cast a comment in the comment section down below, pass the turn, and the video to some of your friends, and of course, until next time, all will be one.